Today we're going to learn about JavaScript objects. An object is like a variable, but it can have a group of variables inside it. Objects are different from arrays in that an array is a list of items and an object is a group of name-value pairs. You'll see the difference when we work with both in today's lesson. Objects are written using JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Let's learn to make an object. Okay, let's make another new JavaScript file. We will call it objects.js. So let's make a pet object. So we will say let pet equal, and then we're going to use curly brackets. Curly brackets are what surround the items in the object. And this is different from arrays, which we learned about last week. In an array, all of the items are surrounded by square brackets. So that's one of the ways that you can tell the difference between an object and an array. So let's give our pet a name, and we're going to put that in quote marks. And then we have a colon, so name, and then we put in Fluffy for the name. And then we'll put a comma. Items in JSON need to be separated by commas. That's part of the rules of their syntax. So now let's give our pet a type. So we'll say type is going to be cat. And then another comma. And then we'll say weight. And then colon. And then we'll say weight is 12. And because this is a number and not a string, we don't need to put quote marks around it. But we do still need a comma because we're adding in one more thing, which is age, and then colon, and we'll give the cat an age of 5. And then at the end of our list of name value pairs, we don't have to put a comma because now the list is over. So that is our pet object. Let's use our pet object. So let's say console.log pet. So let's save, and we will run that file, objects.js. Oops, oh, sorry, node objects.js. And there's our pet object. We can see name is Fluffy, type is cat, weight is 12, age is 5. And we can even reference just some parts of the pet object. So if we say console.log pet.type, and then we save, and then we run, we can see now that we got cat in return because that's the type of our pet. Okay, so we can also have objects inside arrays. Let's see how that works. So we're going to click over back to our array JavaScript file that we made last week. If you don't have it open, you can just find it here in your list and double click on it to open it up. So we're going to make a list of cats, an array of cats. So we will say let cats equal, and then we'll do the square brackets because this is an array. And so now we're going to have a whole bunch of different cats. So our first cat object is going to have curly braces because it's an object. And we will say name equals, we'll say Fluffy again with a comma. And then we'll say age, oops, but not equals, name colon Fluffy, and then age 2. Okay, so that is one of our cats in the cat array. Now let's put a comma because we're going to have another object in our array. This is going to be our second cat object. So we'll start another set of curly braces and we will say name, and then we'll say whiskers, and we'll say age equals 10. This is an old cat. Okay, and then we'll do another comma to separate our objects out, and we'll make one more cat object. So here we will say name, Munchkin, and then age, and 5. Oops, and we will get rid of the quote marks around the age right here because those are integers. Okay, so you can see we've got 3 different cat objects. Each one of the cat objects is in its own set of curly braces. The cat objects are separated by commas, except at the end when we're all done with the objects, then we don't need a comma. And then if we look inside the object, we can see the name value pairs inside the object also have to be separated by commas. So first there's a comma, and then there's no comma because that's the last thing in our object. Okay, so now we've got an array of cats that are made up of cat objects. So let's log our cats. So we will say console log cats, and we'll run. So we'll say node array.js. Okay, and we can see some of the stuff we did last week, but down here, when we've logged out our cat array, we see 3 objects. We've got Fluffy, Whiskers, and Munchkin, each with their ages. But we can do more than just log out our array of cats. We can actually log out one specific cat. Let's learn how to do that. We'll say console.log, and then we'll say cats, and then you probably remember this from last week. We'll use those curly brackets, and in the curly brackets, we will use the number of the cat that we want to log out. So we're going to use 0 because remember, arrays of things always start with a 0. So 0, 1, 2 for our 3 cats. So if we save this and we run that, we should see now here at the bottom, we get just Fluffy, who was cat number 0. We can also log out one specific feature of one specific cat. So let's do that. We will say console.log cats, and this time let's do something with Whiskers. So we will say 1, and then we're going to put a dot, and now we're going to choose either name or age. Let's choose name. So what this is going to give us is, it's going to give us the second cat in the array, and then it's going to give us the value for name, which is going to be Whiskers. Let's save and see if that works. And it does. There's Whiskers. Not only can we have arrays with objects, we can also have objects with arrays. So let's go back to our objects file and let's learn how to do that. So we will create a dog object. So we're going to say let dog equal, and then we're going to use the curly braces because this is an object. And we will say name and then colon Fido. And then we will say toys to list Fido's favorite toys, and Fido has a bunch of favorite toys. So we are going to make an array right here. So this will be an array of toys. So we will add Squeaky Pretzel and Rubber Ball and Chewy Bone. So those are the 3 toys in the array that Fido likes. So now let's log out that dog. So we'll say console.log dog, and then we will run node objects.js. And we can see there's our dog, Fido, and there are his toys. So now let's just log out one of Fido's toys. Let's see if we can log out the rubber ball. So we will say console.log, and then we'll say dog, and then we'll do a dot, because that's how we're going to get to the toys inside the object. So we will say toys, but we are looking for a specific toy. We're going to look for the second toy, which is rubber ball. So we're going to say 1, because remember, this is an array, so it's going to be 0, 1, 2. So then we'll save, and let's see if it logs out our rubber ball. And there it is, rubber ball. Thanks for watching this video. If you found my training helpful, please like this video and share it with others. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single lesson. If you're enjoying Monday Morning Automation and you'd like to learn even faster, be sure to check out my book, The Complete Software Tester, which is available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.com.